Baby Doge is up more than 75% today, and the reason for this is a listing on Binance. Now in this video we want to find out how much longer this rally can potentially last. Let's have a look at on-chain metrics most people aren't considering. Let's see who's buying and selling the token over time. So we are currently at 80183, up 75% today, 93% this week. And we have been higher in the past. There had been massive pumps and dumps before. Let's have a look how much longer we can potentially pump and whether or not we're going to see a dump yet again. So let's first try to find out how much of this is actually organic. Let's compare a few numbers. We've got 2.5 million followers on Twitter. And here's the recent announcement about the listing. Baby Dogecoin is now officially listed on Binance. And lo and behold, we've got another listing on Orbit, both on the spot but also on the perpetual futures market. So 2.5 million followers on Twitter, 200,000 members on Telegram. And how does this compare to the number of holders on chain? We've got 19,000 holders on Ethereum, but here's actually where most of the action is happening, on the Binance Smart Chain with 1.8 million holders. Now sometimes those kind of numbers get artificially inflated. So what I like to look at is how many wallets are there that have at least say $1,000 worth of the token, or say $10,000, or maybe even $100,000 worth of the token. Is this all just wallets that have just a few cents, or are there actually somewhat serious investors in the token? Now I've built a tool to answer that question. Let's first start off with the Ethereum based token. On the left side we see the number of wallets that have 500 billion tokens, or roughly $1,000 worth of the token. This tends to grow quite steadily over time. And with the recent listings, we got another pump of excitement. In the middle, we've got the number of holders that have at least $10,000 worth of the token. Also quite a bit of accumulation. On the right side, we've got the number of holders that have at least $100,000 worth of the token. And that grew quite a lot with that announcement. It went from 6 wallets to 10 wallets. So percentage-wise, much more growth on the whales versus retail. Now this is the Ethereum chain, and as said, most action actually happens on the Binance Smart Chain. And here are the same charts for that Binance Smart Chain. And here it looks very different, right? The growth isn't that obvious. The number of holders pretty much didn't grow whatsoever in the last 3 years. We got our initial rush, but since then, no net accumulation. We see even more continued selling for the medium-sized holders, and the same is true for the large holders. That being said, we are somewhat flat since the middle of 2023, both for the people with $10,000, but also for the ones with $100,000. So the selling pressure stopped roughly over here. But what's also interesting is how we see this massive pump here without the number of holders going up that much. Isn't that fascinating, right? The price roughly tripled, and on-chain nothing happened. And so this gives us a first flavor of what's actually driving the price. And so yes, there seems to be a lot of organic adoption. Many people hold the token, but the price action seems to be mainly generated by the whales, by the centralized exchanges, not even by the wallets that have $100,000 worth of the token, but by the mega whales. Let's have a look at the largest wallets. So you can simply look at the Binance Smart Chain and order this by holding size. Most tokens are actually in a dead wallet. So those are burnt tokens, and that tends to increase over time. Not that steeply anymore compared to the past, but still tokens get burnt. But that doesn't explain why the price can crash like this. One explanation for a price crash can be vesting. Or in other words, token allocation that goes to the team over time, token allocation that might go to centralized exchanges. And interestingly enough, initially we had tokens being sent to that vesting contract. And it seems like the majority of those tokens have now unlocked, roughly 60% or so. So we go from 70p, I don't know what that is, pintillion, down to currently 40 pintillion. Let's have a look at the wallets of some centralized exchanges. So AnySwap, BitGet, Binance, and Maxi. AnySwap initially accumulated up until the beginning of the year, now tends to slightly sell off. and still has a lot of tokens. BitGet tends to accumulate. Binance tends to accumulate. Now this can be a transfer just before the listing for market making. And Maxi also tends to accumulate. This seems to be customer deposits because this is updated quite regularly. And so Baby Doge is not just a meme coin. They also have their own decentralized exchange. Unfortunately, that centralized exchange isn't used that much. So here it is. It supports the Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, Polygon, and the Optimism-based BNB. And here is the total value locked over time. Unfortunately, it's now a former shell of itself with only 2 million total value locked. And so it very much appears as if Baby Doge continues to be strongly in the hands of the centralized exchanges. Rallies like this generate attention and potential opportunities for centralized exchanges to sell off. So I would not be surprised if we continue to see this pattern for the foreseeable future. Now, just because we are high now doesn't mean that we can't see a secondary rally, because the attention is generated on both fronts, right? On the people that consider buying in, but also on the people that consider shorting the token. And if there's enough short interest, it might make sense for those centralized exchanges to just short squeeze. So to just buy up more again in order to create a secondary rally. So nobody really knows at what point in time we will see the crash. But at some point, I do believe we will see again very similar floors to what we have seen in 2021, in 2022, in 2023, and of course also this year. This is one of the largest tokens on the Binance Smart Chain. So the listing is actually quite late. Check this out. This is the Binance Smart Chain. This is all tokens on the chain ordered by liquidity. And Baby Doge is at number 9. And it's got even more transactions than Wrapped BNB versus Tether. The trading volume in the last 24 hours for Baby Doge was even larger than for Wrapped BNB. So this is really the big guys playing against one another. I personally don't touch the token. I don't like to be involved in those kind of games. I like to play rather market inefficiencies, and they're probably not in the most liquid of the tokens. I will continue to make updates on Baby Doge in the future. If you don't want to miss those updates, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. In case you've got Telegram, then you're more than welcome to join us. The link is down below. Looking very much forward to chatting with you.